Welcome to TRK Studio, your haven for charming cottage, cabin, and studio design. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for timeless decorating inspiration. A charming yellow English cottage sitting room styled with a vintage floral settee, faded area rug, and a fireplace mantel decorated with seasonal garlands and antique candle holders. Add wall shelves lined with teapots, poetry books, and pressed flower frames. Include an old pine coffee table with a distressed tray, a hand-stitched doily, and a ceramic pitcher of fresh blooms. Use muted lighting and weathered paint tones to bring out the cozy richness of shabby vintage design. A sunlit spring-themed breakfast nook in the yellow cottage with a round bistro table dressed in floral cotton, set with blue and cream crockery. Add white wooden chairs with ruffled cushions, a wire fruit basket, and vases of daffodils. Include soft pastel bunting along the wall, a vintage wall clock, and a sheer curtain dancing in the breeze. Use layered textures, linen, chintz, lace, paired with painted furniture to evoke a cheerful yet softly elegant cottagecore spirit. A festive winter corner inside the yellow English cottage with a small pine tree decorated in dried orange slices, hand-knitted garlands, and soft ribbon. Style with a rustic wooden table topped with candles, antique tins, and vintage cards. Add cozy layers like plaid throws, a faded wool rug, and frosted window panes with lace curtains. Include elements like a distressed hutch filled with mismatched china and warm, twinkling lights that reflect Cottagecore's nostalgic spirit in winter. A peaceful writing desk setup in the yellow English cottage under a sloped ceiling with exposed beams. Include a worn white desk with chipped paint, vintage inkwell, soft stationery, and dried lavender tucked in a ceramic mug. Add an antique chair draped in linen, a petite lamp with a fabric shade, and open windows revealing the seasonal garden beyond. Style with small framed sketches, a faded wall calendar, and a cozy woolen rug beneath the desk. A whimsical yellow cottage bathroom with a freestanding clawfoot tub in pale ivory, surrounded by floral wallpaper and ruffled curtains. Add a vintage washstand with a porcelain basin, brass fixtures, and open shelves holding lavender sachets, enamel soap dishes, and fluffy white towels. Include an old wooden stool with a lace doily and a stack of pastel washcloths. Soft candlelight and natural light from a sash window blend to create a serene and nostalgic bathing space. A vintage tea corner inside the yellow English cottage, styled with a round pedestal table covered in embroidered linen, surrounded by dainty bentwood chairs. Display a three-tiered tray with floral pastries, bone china teacups, and a worn silver teapot. Let a faded pastel rug anchor the setting, with nearby walls lined with time-worn floral wallpaper and petite framed prints. Style the sideboard with dried flowers, shabby ceramic pieces, and a soft candle glow adding vintage charm. A softly lit yellow cottage laundry room with a vintage washtub, distressed wooden shelves holding stacked floral linens, and glass jars of clothespins. Include a ruffled curtain beneath a porcelain sink, open shelving with hand-woven baskets, and a drying rack filled with lace-trimmed pillowcases. Accent with seasonal touches like sprigs of rosemary, old apothecary bottles, and a small framed cross-stitch sampler. Use warm lighting to reflect off creamy yellow walls and soft aged tiles underfoot. A seasonal cottage garden view through a yellow-trimmed window, framed by lace curtains, showing blooming hollyhocks, roses, and lavender. Inside the windowsill rest terracotta pots, vintage seed tins, and a cracked jug filled with fresh cuttings. Style with tiny antique frames, a linen cafe curtain, and hand-stitched details on the fabric. Let the play of light and shadow from the garden create movement across a whitewashed farmhouse sink and a shabby painted windowsill. A cozy yellow cottage hallway with painted beadboard walls and a collection of vintage straw hats, botanical prints, and antique coat hooks. Include a narrow console table in crackled sage green with distressed drawers, styled with a doily, floral teacups, and a faded clock. Line the base with small wicker baskets holding garden gloves and dried herbs. Use a soft, muted runner and overhead, a petite chandelier with hanging crystals to add a touch of rustic elegance. A reading corner in the yellow English cottage featuring a slip-covered armchair in soft chintz beside a worn bookshelf filled with classic novels and weathered spines. Add a vintage floor lamp with a fringed shade, a crocheted throw, and a distressed side table topped with a floral teacup, spectacles, and a candle in a brass holder. Use a muted area rug over faded wood floors and let light fall gently from a nearby dormer window dressed in lace. A cottage bedroom bathed in yellow sunlight with a wrought iron bed dressed in ruffled white linens, patchwork quilts, and delicate embroidered pillows. Include a painted armoire with floral motifs, its surface worn from time. Add a vintage trunk at the foot of the bed, draped with lace and stacked with old books. Let sheer curtains flutter from the breeze through cottage windows, and decorate walls with botanical sketches and small shelves holding dried posies in glass jars. An autumn-inspired yellow English cottage dining nook with an oval table draped in vintage lace, set for tea with antique floral china. Surround with wooden spindleback chairs in mismatched pastels, faded and worn. Include a sideboard topped with pumpkins, dried orange slices, and brass candlesticks. Let soft golden light stream through a window dressed in heavy floral curtains, highlighting a rustic chandelier overhead. Add cottagecore touches like pressed leaf frames and dried flower wreaths. A quaint yellow cottage entryway with an aged bench in distressed ivory, styled with floral cushions and a crocheted throw. Include a slim wooden table with peeling paint holding a vintage lamp, dried lavender bundles, and an old copper key bowl. Let a wicker basket filled with umbrellas and cozy scarves rest beneath. The walls should show soft, crackling yellow paint, with a small cottagecore painting in muted spring tones and an old mirror reflecting warm light. A delicate English cottage kitchen adorned in soft yellow tones with open wooden shelves displaying mismatched vintage crockery, hand-painted teacups, and pastel enamelware. Add distressed cabinetry with shabby vintage patinas and lace-trimmed curtains framing a cottage-style window. Include woven baskets with seasonal fruits, a well-worn wooden table with faded table linens, and ceramic pitchers filled with wildflowers. Enhance the scene with warm morning light filtering gently through the space, highlighting its charming imperfections. A cozy yellow English cottage living room with worn floral wallpaper, faded gingham curtains, and a soft linen sofa nestled near a stone fireplace. Surround the space with antique whitewashed shelves filled with vintage porcelain, pastel books, and dried seasonal florals. Let sunlight pour through lace-draped windows, casting soft shadows across weathered wood floors. Style with layers of embroidered cushions, rustic candle holders, and subtle cottagecore accents like ruffled slipcovers and vintage botanical prints. Thanks for visiting TRK Studio, where beauty meets comfort in every season. Like, comment, and subscribe for more cozy, elegant, and nostalgic home inspiration.